It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down. It's like a loop machine.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Edward Jenkins Center.
Adam
Jenkins
Center.
Thank you.
Edward Waters College.
At Edward Waters College.
Come on out
in Jacksonville, Florida. Brian Fulford and A.D. Drew here for the second contest today between the Edward Waters College Tigers and the Tougaloo Bulldogs. Of course, the women of EWC won the first contest. And so now it'll be an opportunity for the men of EWC to see if they can get a sweep here against the 10th ranked team in NAIA in the Tougaloo Bulldogs. Tougaloo comes into this contest with an overall record of 21-5, 10-1 in first place in the GCAC. And Edward Waters comes in with an overall record of 12-11, 6-5 in the GCAC. Tigers are coached by Fred Summers in his second season. Tougaloo coached by Thomas Billups in his sixth. So AD, as we get ready for this contest, what are your thoughts on what we might see today?
Gonna see a lot of up and down action. Both of these teams like to get out and run the ball. You know, Tougaloo is coming off of their first loss of the season at Dillard on on Monday night. So they're going to be looking to get back on the right path. And Edward Waters has just gotten over 500 for the first time all season, both in the conference and overall. You know, looking at some of the individual players for this particular game, you've got the leader in assists in the conference, Robert Thomas III. He had conference leading 16 assists last game. That's a conference high for any player this season. Leads the conference 6.6 assists a game. The number 2 person in the conference is in the other team wearing red today. That will be Stanley Williams, averaging 5.8 assists per game. But also the number 4 person in the conference, Sean Atwater, averaging 4.3 assists per game. The number 1 scorer in the conference, the number 5 scorer in the conference plays for Tougaloo also, that being the Darius Woods.
Well, let's try to set the starting lineups that we already have for both teams. Tougaloo will be in red, and Edward Waters will be in orange.
Once again, we got no color contrast, Brian.
For Tougaloo, their starters will be number 1, Stanley Williams, the 6-foot senior guard from Belzoni, Mississippi. Number 2, Datavian Porter, 6'5 junior forward from Jackson, Mississippi. Number 3, DeMichael Stribling, a 6'6 senior from Jackson, Mississippi. Number 10, Sean Atwater, 6-foot guard from Atlanta. And number 11, Ladarius Woods, a 6'4 senior from Tunica, Mississippi.
Never been in that casino, I take it.
No, I have not.
I have.
Hopefully it was a good time.
Yeah, yes, it was.
Many of these guys, I do recall, of course, they were the GCAC tournament champions last year. And I remember many of these guys from that tournament, which was here. That was the last time Tougaloo was here playing in this building, is when they won the GCAC tournament last year. For Edward Waters, starting for them, number 0, DeJuan Bass, a 6'4 senior from Baltimore. Number 1, Maurice Johnson, a 6'7 junior from Birmingham, Alabama. Number 3, Robert Thomas III, a 5'9 junior from Orlando. Number 10, Anthony Young, 5'10 senior from St. Augustine, Florida. And number 35, Rashad Morgan, 6'8 senior from West Palm Beach. And we will turn it over to the PA announcer, Mr. Joshua Jackson, as we hear the starting lineups for both teams. All right, here we go. Ready for the tip of this contest. 12th ranked Tougaloo Bulldogs taking on EWC here, preparing to tip off for Tougaloo. Number 2, Tavian Porter. For EWC, number 35, Rasad Morgan. Morgan tips it, and coming up with it quickly, Robert Thomas. Over to Anthony Young for 3.
You know, he started off hot last game, and he's continued to be hot. He's fired his three-point stroke in the last couple of games, Brian.
Well, last Saturday, we remember Anthony Young had a tough time scoring against Philander Smith, so, you know, it's been a good week, I would say, for a young man. Knifing into the lane, high off the glass, number 10, Sean Atwater. And Tougaloo will pick up in there 2-2-1. Trap, here they are right here. Garden Bass, they've got the double team, nearly stolen away.
The one spot where you don't want the ball to be picked up at, right there at the timeline.
Because of the deflection, there was not a 10 count there. Thomas over in the corner. That time it was Johnson, I believe. Johnson unable to get that to fall. Rebound by Porter. Back comes Williams. Williams goes inside to Stribling. Stribling, right hand, no good. That shot was blocked. That attempt by Porter was blocked by Morgan. Back comes Young.
You know, Morgan had a block party going on Monday night, Brian, while you were out of town. So he's continued with his block party, looks like today.
15 on the shot clock. Thomas looks to set up. Down to Bass. Turn and face. 5 seconds on the clock. Johnson, Thomas again into the lane. Over to Morgan, and that's going to be a delay. So unable to get a bucket there, or I should say a shot attempt. Turnover goes to Tougaloo. Number 10, Sean Atwater, setting up the offense there. Top of the key. Goes right side to Williams. It'll be interesting to see how the players deal with the sun in this first half on this end of the floor. It really will affect Tougaloo on the right side of the court. There's a spin, turnaround attempt, no good by Atwater. Rebound by Morgan. Back comes Thomas. Over to Young. Picks up the screen. Into the lane. Dishes it out to Morgan. He pulls up baseline, no good. Johnson and Stribling had their hands on it, but it ends up going off of Johnson. Tougaloo ball. And of course, as always, I feel like I have to mention the change from quarters to halves will take me a few minutes to catch up. 17:40 remaining in the first half. Stribling at the top of the key. Goes inside. That ball is deflected by Thomas. Thomas. Transition, pull-up, jump shot. It's blocked from behind. But Darius Woods got his hands on that. Ends up being Tougaloo ball. 3-2 is our score still. 17-20. Three-point attempt by Woods. No good. Rebound by Morgan. Thomas hands off to Young. Young into the lane. Decides to get on. They're going to call him for traveling there. Yeah, it looks like there was a little bit of a bump there he had a tough time getting past Williams on that.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty good defense, though. He complained about the bump, but that was not enough for a referee to put a whistle on it right there.
Pretty good defense by both teams here in this first 3-4 minutes, and as soon as I say that, then there's a foul coming off the pick. Rashad Morgan picks up his first, team first. That's the very first foul of the contest. And here's that tough spot we talked about where the sun may cause some problems. Stribling gets it. That's Williams into the lane. Left hand pull up. Count it.
I guarantee you won't see too many three-point attempts from directly in front of the Edward Waters bench right now.
No, not on that right side. I can't see it. 2-2-1. Up ahead. There's Bass into the lane. Finger roll. No good. Johnson tried to gather it and put it back up, but he's fouled. They're going to call that foul on number 3 to Michael Stribling. At the line, Maurice Johnson gets that one to fall. A 6'7" junior from Birmingham, Alabama. Second attempt is no good. Our score is tied at 4. Back comes Tougaloo. Here comes Atwater. That's Stribling. Unable to make that bucket. Robert Thomas on the right side. Picks up a couple of screens going left. Good defense. And you know, this is the thing, Tougaloo, there's a reason why they are ranked and they are what they are. There's a nice turnaround inside by Morgan.
You know, I heard a couple of players from Edward Waters doing the layup line talking about we're going to get the upset today. So we're going to see how true that is for the Edward Waters Tigers, Brian.
Thomas comes up with that rebound, trying to navigate through, gives it over to Morgan. Morgan behind him to Young. No good. Rebound by Woods. Back comes Tougaloo. Sean Atwater on the left side of the court. Goes down to the block to Porter. Looking, spins around a couple of times, off the glass, no good. There's another rebound by Thomas. Thomas to his left side, gives it over to Young. We haven't seen DeJuan Bass get involved much on the offensive end for EWC. There's Johnson. There's Thomas for 3. No good. Rebound going up high to get that one was Ladarius Woods. Gives it over to Stanley Williams. On the left side, picks up a screen from Stribling. Atwater thought about it. Decides to give it over to Porter. Spin move into the lane. Rebound by Morgan.
Porter's got to do a little better job. He's got about a 6-inch height advantage when he gets the ball down there. Just take your time, go up with a jump hook or a turnaround shot. There's nothing Young could do right there.
Young, there's Johnson on the left wing trying to get inside. They're thinking about it. They're trying to get it inside. There's Thomas. He decides to go baseline. Morgan opened up, fumbled around with it. Got his ankle rolled up on, too, as he fell. That's a tough spot for a big man to be. Tougaloo comes up with it. 6-4 is still our score. Low scoring first few minutes of this contest. Nice move off the glass. Count that one. That bucket is good by Sean Atwater, and our game is tied up at 6 coming up on the 14-minute mark as a host of substitutions for Tougaloo and one for EWC. Bass tried to go reverse layup. He's going to get the foul. Foul on number 2, Datavian Porter. For EWC, it appears number 15, Marcus Kane, is preparing to come in. There's at least 4 substitutions for Tougaloo. First free throw attempt by Bass, no good. And into the ball game for Tougaloo, number 5, Savon Carter. Number 13, Xavier Heidelberg. 14, Ladarius White. And if I can catch the last number there, I will get that one.
And Kane replaces Rashad Morgan for Edward Waters.
23, Justin Johnson was the last one to sub in for Tougaloo. On the court, Woods is the only one who stayed on the court for Tougaloo. That was a big thing I remember last year about Tougaloo. A lot of substitutions, a very deep ball club, and it looks to be a similar case for them this year. 6-6, still our score.
Well, in NAIA basketball, you get 11 full scholarships. It looks like Tougaloo's using all of them.
Bass, strong move in the lane, able to get that one to fall. DeJuan Bass puts EWC up 2. Johnson with a nice spin move, reverse layup.
Good
23, Justin Johnson, 6'7" senior from Martin, Tennessee, going up against a freshman in Kane. So little
2 seconds, get across. He got it across.
That was Bass. He thought about it. Pull-up jump shot is good. And now we see DeJuan Bass starting to get heated up a little bit. Two consecutive buckets.
Great body control by not going in and getting the offensive foul. Able to stop and pop with the pull-up jump shot.
It looks like Tougaloo goes right back. No, there's a 3-point attempt. Rebound by Young. He's on the push, pushing the ball up the floor. He's got Bass on his right. He gives it over to him. There's Johnson. They go inside to Kane. And, they're going to call an offensive foul on Marcus Kane. I thought Justin Johnson might have done a little bit of acting there.
A little bit of acting, a little bit of leaning. But I think what got him was Bass, Kane, extended when he made the spin move.
And Johnson is coming out of the ball game. Looks like he injured or is injured a little bit there. And so checking back into the ball game, 1, Stanley Williams, as well as number 3, Stribling. Inside the lane right there is Xavier Heidelberg. Ties it up at 10, 12-12 remaining in the first half.
You know, Brian, this is the rematch of last year's championship game on this same court.
Good point. DeJuan Bass with the pull-up off the glass. That's 6 straight points for Bass. 12-10 lead. Down on the low blocks, that's Carter. Into the lane, left-handed. Nice move by Carter. Ties it at 12. So let's see, we've got I don't think the 25-second clock got, or shot clock, 30-second shot clock got reset.
You know, earlier this year when they played January 25th, Tougaloo squeaked by with a 74-71 victory at their place. So Edward Waters can run and stay with this team. Can they get over the hump this time, Brian?
Chris Oakley checked into the ball game for Anthony Young during that dead ball.
Now, Oakley's been out for a while for Edward Waters.
All right. Was a starter earlier in the season, if I'm not mistaken.
He's been out with a knee injury. Matter of fact, this is his first game back.
Okay, as you can see,
in a while.
He's got a bit of a sleeve on his right knee. Bass guarded tightly. He pulls up. Another bucket. That's 8 straight by Bass, who's got it going now.
And
He's into the ball game. 14-12 lead.
Oakley's a very, very integral part of this team. You know, they're going to welcome his scoring and his leadership back. He is one of the team captains.
Carter on the left wing. Gives it over to DeMichael Stribling. Gives it over. Ball rotates into the corner. That's a three-point attempt. No good. Rebound by Johnson. Maurice Johnson brings it up the floor. Looks to give it up. Gives it over to Oakley. Chris Oakley on that left side. Trying to find Robert Thomas. He's being tightly guarded there. Trying to take away the point guard. So Oakley's going to have to deal with the ball. Gives it over to Johnson.
10 on the clock.
And there's going to be a hold inside as number 5, Sabron Carter, was holding Marcus Kane.
And you see a lot of teams coming here to Edward Waters and try to take Robert Thomas out of the game. He is the spark. He is the engine. You know, he's had 5 double-digit assist games this year.
And this time they call offensive foul on Edward Waters, number 1, Maurice Johnson, as he was trying to fight his way on that inbound play to get to his position, which I thought was on a low block. But it's actually Kane who's going to come out of the ball game.
Kane, yes.
Oh, they did
call
correct
it on
that?
Kane, yes.
Okay. Well, that'll be 2 on him then. And checking back into the ball game for EWC, Rasad Morgan. Inside, there's DeMichael Stribling. Rolls off the rim. Rebound by Bass. Bass gives it over to Thomas. He'll push the ball up the floor on the right side. Let's see what they try to run here. Morgan, let's see if they give it over to Bass. There's his Bass being guarded. Nice move. Skips it. Tried to skip it. Baseline over to the opposite corner. Goes out of bounds, though. I thought Bass had a mismatch there. I'm not really sure about the entry angle that they used to try to give him the ball, though, AD.
I think the entry angle was a little bit poor there, Brian.
Coming up on 10 minutes remaining.
Looks like they're in a 3-2 zone.
Here's a three-point attempt. That one from deep, Stanley Williams. 15-14 gives Tougaloo the 1-point lead. That's 5 points for Williams in the contest. Thomas being guarded tightly by Legarius White. There's a steal by Heidelberg. Left-hand layup.
Quickly, Tougaloo opens up a 3-point lead, Brian.
Oakley to Thomas. Guarded by White. Oakley with the ball. Go skip to the corner. I'm not really sure who Oakley saw on that. Substitutions aplenty coming in. First time for EWC, number 4, Nikel Martin checks in. Tougaloo makes a couple of substitutions. And another quick substitution for EWC, number 10, Anthony Young. And Oakley comes back out. Let's see if we can catch who came out. Number 13 and 14 for Tougaloo came out. That's Heidelberg and White. They did a great job, those 2 guards, coming into the contest. And now practically the 4/5 of the starting group is back in for Tougaloo. Ball in the hands of Williams. Picks up a screen.
7
Pull-up
seconds.
jump shot. No good. Good rebound there by Morgan. Back comes Thomas. Hand off to Martin. Martin goes into the lane. Jump stop. Pull up off the glass. No good. Too strong. Stribling comes up with it. Back comes Williams. That's Woods. Here comes Stribling right down the lane.
I don't know how he hit that one.
That's an
as fast as he
athletic
was
move
going.
by DeMichael Stribling. Those are the kind of plays we saw in the championship game a year ago that really impressed me when I last saw that young man. The lead is now 5 for Tougaloo. Thomas gives it over to Morgan. There's Johnson, Maurice Johnson for 3. Rolls in and out, no good. Martin comes up with that rebound. Johnson again for 3. That time he gets it to fall. Second chance opportunity, and he takes advantage of it. Maurice Johnson cuts the deficit to 2. 19-17, Tougaloo leading. dribbling. Left side, there's Williams. No good. Rebound again by Morgan. Tougaloo with a 2-point lead. Martin finds Thomas. Thomas calls the play, 15 on the shot clock. Looks like here comes the screen for Maurice Johnson. Thomas takes it. They look, he's got his man inside, ceiling, but Thomas decides to go with it. Johnson comes up with the rebound, goes up strong, it's blocked. That block there, I believe, was by 5. Carter. Back come the Bulldogs. Up the floor. In the corner for 3. That attempt by Atwater was no good, but the rebound by Williams. Excuse me, that was Woods on that 3-point attempt.
And Waters back into their man-to-man defense.
There's Stribling. No good. Another rebound from Morgan. Has it nearly stolen away by Williams in the hands of Thomas as he gets by Williams. Going to the bucket. Pull-up jump shot. Nope, count it. Score is now tied as EWC comes down and goes on a 5-0 run. This game of runs. This is, it's defensive struggle. It's going to be a short little game of runs, mass substitutions constantly. It's a great ball game so far. 6:23 remaining in the first half. Inside the Stribling. Turnaround. Right hand, no good. Not sure that was blocked or whether that was just a miss.
I think he just missed it. He was just a little short on it.
Quick hand off to Young. Young, he pulls up for 3. No good.
Not a good shot right there.
Rebound by Atwater. Atwater pushes. He's got Woods trailing, gives it back to him. There it is to Williams at the top of the key. Dribbles left into the lane. And rolls around and in.
I think he used all the rim on that one there, Brian.
All of it. 21-19. That's 7 points for Stanley Williams. Anthony Young on the left wing gets a screen from Maurice Johnson. There's Johnson. He thought about it. He does pull it for 3. And that's good. Johnson with his height and strength, he's got something. He's got an upper body, almost a set shot on that 3-pointer. He's able to get that off against a smaller defender. Gives EWC the 1-point lead, 22-21. Approaching 5 minutes left. There's Stribling. Carter's trying to find his way. Might have traveled there on the change of pivot foot. 4 seconds, 3 seconds on the clock. Williams trying to go somewhere, and there's a charge. 2 players are down. Robert Thomas as well as Stanley Williams.
I think Williams was frustrated because all his players left him down there before Edward Waters players around him, and nobody was there to help him up. Finally, one of the Edward Waters players helps him up. That was Maurice Johnson who helped him up off the floor.
Checking in for Williams, 13, Xavier Heidelberg's back in the ball game. Under 5 minutes to play in the first half. Ball in the hands there of Anthony Young. Goes over to Robert Thomas. Back to Young. Looking for the cross screen. There's a screen by Morgan. They come and double that hard. Ball on the right side. Another screen. Thomas picks it up into the lane. Uses his body well.
What great move. Way to use your body. When you're a little against a big, you have to make sure your body stays between you and the defender.
Thomas gives EWC the 3-point lead, 24-21. Sean Atwater on the low block there to Porter. Porter tried to give it over. There's a 3-point attempt by Atwater, and they're going to say that one touched the top of the backboard. A couple of substitutions we might have missed. Number 21, Carl Johnson checked in. He's a 6'8 sophomore from Memphis, as well as number 34, DeMarquez Washington, a 6'3 freshman from Canton, Mississippi. Robert Thomas with the ball in his hands, over to Maurice Johnson. Now the low block is Bass. Goes up, and nice finish. DeJuan Bass with the emphatic dunk puts the Tigers up 5. He has 10 points. The crowd starting to fill in here. There's a nice move by Morgan. Porter, excuse me. Back comes EWC. No foul called. There's a handoff to Johnson. Going into the lane.
Go again.
Ooh. That could have been, AD. That could have been. Crowd has gotten a little, AD, we have not had any dead balls or timeouts, so there really hasn't been an opportunity for the band or the DJ to really get this crowd going. But it looks like the crowd is starting to fill in and appreciate the contest.
On a cool Saturday afternoon here in Jacksonville, Florida.
At the line, Maurice Johnson misses that first one. Checking in, I believe, for the first time, number 12, Darius Turman.
Yes.
6'6" junior from Thompson, Georgia. And he comes in for Rasad Morgan. Second free throw attempt, rolls around and in. EWC has their largest lead. It is the largest lead of the contest for either team, I believe. 6 points, 27-21, 3:15 to play in the first half.
Brian, we've got a final on the women's side. Talladega 76, Xavier 68. That's a final.
3-point attempt
Alabama.
by DeMarcus Washington goes down. His first basket cuts the deficit to 3. Let's see if they try to get that ball down to Bass. They do. On the short corner, he turns around, gives it back to Thomas. He goes up for 3. No good. Rebound by Sean Atwater. Pushes it up ahead. There's Heidelberg going to the bucket. Blocked by Johnson, but the recovery by Atwater.
Great block, but somebody has to go get the rebound on that, Brian. You just can't let it sit there.
Atwater did. He's got 6 now.
Let me rephrase that. Somebody in orange has to go get the rebound.
Okay. 27-26. Lead for Edward Waters there. There's Johnson. Bass wants the ball. He's got a mismatch. Thomas was unable to get that ball to him. Bass wants that ball because he's got the smaller Atwater guarding him. Bass at 6'4", Atwater just 6 feet. Might have been a better play to put a little more air on that one. The Bulldogs looking to regain the lead on this possession here. Right hand in the hands of Atwater, gives it over to Johnson. That shot was no good. Rebound by Maurice Johnson. Over to Robert Thomas. Comes across the half-court line. Hand off to Young. Going left. Between his legs, gives it over to Johnson. Tries to hop through the double team, and they're going to call the foul, saying he was on the floor. It'll be a sideline or inbound underneath. Tavian Porter picks up his second, team 6th.
A minute ago it was a 6-point lead for EWC. Now there's only a 1-point lead, Brian. This Tougaloo team can score in bunches.
Turman tried to go spin move, lost control of the ball. Back up the floor. Whoa! Well, if nothing else, Washington went to the rim, and it looked pretty. It looked pretty going up.
But it did not look pretty coming down, as both of them took a hard fall.
Yeah, a couple of players. Let's see, for EWC, that appears to be, as they try to, Bass.
That's DeJuan Bass.
I was trying to take stock of who was injured.
He was last week's player of the week at the GCAC conference on the men's side, Brian. So this is could be a key loss. Is it his knee or is it his ankle? I can't quite tell.
Just an awkward finish as Bass went up for the block while Washington went up for the spectacular dunk. And both of them I think it may just landed awkwardly. The training staff will try to get him as he hobbles over towards the table. With a minute 36, you got to imagine it's a good time for him to come out. You just hope he can come back in because he had 10 points at this point in the contest. Washington misses his first
10 points on 5 or 6 shooting, Brian.
Second attempt by Washington is good. We have a tie game with a minute 36 to play. 27-27. Oakley up ahead to Young. Tiptoes the sideline. Michael Stribling steals the ball. Back comes Tougaloo. Inside to Porter. Porter gives it over to Stribling, and they're going to call Martin.
That's a foul all day right there, Brian. If he stays vertical, it's a no call. He swipes down. You got to put a whistle on it.
Give credit, I think, to the Michael there for going up quickly. A lot of guys might have paused and might have taken a dribble. Instead, Stribling actually went up for that one. First free throw attempt is good. And so it's a 7-0 run right now for Tougaloo as they regain the lead 28-27. A minute 21 to play in the first half. Second attempt is good.
Make it 9-0.
Thomas up ahead to Young. Young gives it back to Thomas. Here comes the screen. There's Martin. Swings it over to Johnson. And it's deflected by Heidelberg. It goes out of bounds, inbound underneath for EWC. Martin with the ball. Pulls up for three. No good. Rebound by Atwater. He comes across half court. Pushing. Gives it over to Heidelberg. Goes to the bucket. Off the glass. 11-0 run now for Tougaloo.
Well, you said earlier it's been a game of runs, Brian. Looks like Tougaloo is in the midst of their run. Can Edward Waters stop it and go into this game
Still
for the halftime with one possession down?
Still a 4-point ball game now for Tougaloo. There's Johnson for three. No good as it hit the front of the rim. Skipped off the back of it. Rebound by Tougaloo, the Bulldogs. I believe the shot clock is off, so final 20 seconds of the half. Looks like they will settle in for one final shot. Heidelberg and Atwater will play a little back and forth. Here we go, 7 seconds, 6 seconds on the clock. Atwater between the legs, into the lane, left, right hand, off the glass, no good. Rebound by Maurice Johnson, and that will do it. So at the end of the first half, Tougaloo Bulldogs 31, Edward Waters 27. We will take a breath and a breather and go to halftime. You're watching Edward Waters College basketball on the Black College Sports Network.